Who out there loves LEGO Ninjago? But who out there has trouble getting these little critters to spin? Well, I'll be quite honest with you, I was one of those people. I always had a bit of trouble getting them to spin. Well, this video is all about doing a little bit of a mashup between two toys to potentially make the greatest spinning toy ever. This modification is so easy to do, and all you need is a little bit of blue tack and a trip into the girls aisle in the toy store. And I can absolutely guarantee that once you've done this conversion, you'll never go back to the old finger flick of Ninjago. And what prompted this little modification was my daughter's query about Ninjago and why they don't have spinners like Beyblades. But to get your head around how to do this, we're going to talk about some spinning toys, and you have to be very careful in the toy selection that you make to pull this off. It's all explained in this video, and it's not a video that you'd want to skip through and miss some vital information. Well, I'm pretty sure most of you out there understand what this is. It's a Ninjago LEGO figure, and it's got a spinner, and I suppose the novel aspect to this whole Ninjago thing was the spinners, and the spinners have evolved. This is from the first series that came out, and a lot of kids enjoyed this game, but also a lot of kids were frustrated because, well, if you weren't good at spinning the spinner, well, you couldn't play the game very well. Let's just be reminded of how the gameplay works. Well, I've cleared the arena and in comes our Ninjago spinner, and it was a matter of doing a thing between your thumb and a finger. That was my technique, and doing that, and your Ninjago figure tore around, and if there was another one in there, you'd be in a battle. But acquiring a good spin technique was far easier for some than others. I forgot to yell out Ninjago. Sorry, boys. And while we're on the topic of things that spin and boys get excited about, there are Beyblades. And these are interesting because they were banned from my daughter's school because people were going crazy with these, and they were jumping up and they were biting people because, well, they got metal on the outside and they turn at a fairly high velocity if you've got kids who are highly energetic with them. But hey, that's part of the fun. What's quite nice about Beyblades is they come with their own spinner. This is one of the ripcord ones, and that's what gives you the spin on the Beyblades. Let's have a reminder of how they work. I don't know what you yell out when you do Beyblades, but I'll do that. And there's a spinning little thing going there, and I'll try and get another one in there. Whoa! And they go around and they do things like that. Have little battles, and boys love them. Yes, a hugely popular toy, and we all love Beyblades. Well, next we have Dizzy Dancers. And some people had quoted that these were like Beyblades for girls. And a bit different to a Beyblades where you had, well, they were ripping, but they ripped from the bottom. There's a ripping version of Beyblades, but the Dizzy Dancers ripped like this, and that's what made them spin. Let's give this little Dizzy Dancer a spin. Okay, here we go, the Dizzy Dancers, and there's our first one ripped, and I'll get another one in there. Yeah! Go Dizzy Dancers! Oh, and they're fighting already. Look at them spin. And there's something quite different about these toys compared to Ninjago and the Beyblades. Now, I'm pretty sure a majority of boys will be saying, oh, big deal, girls' toy, who cares? But you know what, there's something very special about Dizzy Dancers, and that is that the top comes off and the spinning unit is a solo player. Well, guess what we're going to do next? You boys are going to love this. Well, there are three very popular spinning type games, and they all use spinners in a sense. What if I did a mashup between two of these and made one of the very popular ones into the ultimate spinning game? Wouldn't that be great? Well, let's do it. Even though this is a very, very simple mod, I still need to put this title up. Well, what you're about to see may send some toy companies into cardiac arrest. Here we go. Dizzy Ninjago! Whoa! This takes all the pain out of playing Ninjago. You know what? This mod is a really simple one to pull off, and I'm going to show you how. Whoa! This really does transform the way you play Ninjago. It makes it such an easy game to play. Before we get into doing the mod, it's worth having a look at the earlier Ninjago spinners, and they're a little bit more basic than the later versions. What was most different about them was the bottom was a different shape. It was a big curve here, and you had that button on the bottom that was the spinner, and of course you could add things there. And I suppose you could have added things to those bits on top. But along came a next version, and it came with this extra piece on top. It also came with the ability to attach weapons underneath the spinner, but more importantly, it's a different shape, and that curve is gone, and that actually aids in this modification. You need a spinner like this one to do this. You're going to need some blue tack, and my advice is steer clear of cheap stuff. I don't do brand names, but that's the brand of this one that I've got in my hand. And blue tack, of course, looks like this, and most people use it for putting up posters on walls, but it's got a billion uses. And we're going to turn this into a little shape to aid in this transformation. And this transformation is reversible because we're using blue tack. And all you Lego boys, you're going to need a dizzy dancer. Either steal it from your sister or get into the toy shop and get into the girls aisle. The people buying dizzy dancers are going to hate me, aren't they? But you can take the top off. You don't need the top. You can feed it to the dog. You can burn it. You can give it to a friend. I'm throwing mine over there. And you're left with the bottom pieces, which is what you want. And of course there's a ripcord thing as well, which I haven't got with me at the moment. How silly. But watch this, I'll paint this and make it look very boyish. Watch this one for a trick. There we are, painted. And if you do it like that, it looks a bit more boyish, and you can take it to school without being so embarrassed. Let's get on to the next step, eh? The next part involves forming up our blue tack into a long sausage. And it's going to take a little bit of time to do, and it's interesting. I remember when in kindergarten I used to love doing this with plasticine. I used to love the black plasticine for some reason, and then when the teachers back then said, oh, you know, Leo's getting caught up with black stuff and black paint and black plasticine, it all got taken away, and then I had to play with, you know, bright colours. Boring. And we keep working it, and I think what's really important is to be consistent. We're just making a great big long log, and we're not going to cut it yet. You'll see why we don't cut it. We just want a nice long log which is fairly consistent, and I think I've got there. And to give you an idea of the size of the log that we're after, there's a little tiny brick of Lego, and if I bring my log in, you can see the size relationship. I'm using a block of Lego there because the Lego boys can relate to Lego, so if they see that relationship, that little log is smaller than that block there, and that's the sort of size that you're after. Well, like I said earlier in the video, you need a spinner that looks like this. Who knows, in the future they might change again. Take these weapons out, you don't need those. Take this bottom button off, you don't need that. That top dressing plate, it's up to you. You can leave it on there if you want. But the really important part is, we're going to put our blue tack on, and we're going to very carefully follow around the centerpiece there. And I'll go in for a nice close-up so you can see better. As I promised, we're looking closer now. And we get to the end there, and it's really important that this log is even because this will play out when we go to mash these two toys together. Once we're at this point, and we've got our blue tack nice and even around that center of the spinner, I come in with a knife and I'll get rid of the excess blue tack there very carefully, remembering that knives are sharp and you've got to be very careful with them. And I'll come in and just finish off that circle so it's nice and even. And it's really important that we've got a nice even donut of blue tack. Well, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to know what comes next, but this step is really important to get right. We're going to marry the two together, and what you've got to do is make sure you try and get that spinner as centralized as possible onto the Dizzy Dancer spinner. And before you go crazy pushing it down, just check around, see how it looks, make sure it's in the center. And if I look between the two, we can see that nice donut of blue tack. It's all nice and even, it looks good, we're ready for the push down. And then the final piece in this sequence is you basically firm this up and push it down, and those two are bonded merrily for play. It's ready to go. And what I like to do before I stick a minifigure in there is give it a test spin, because I want to make sure we're very centralized onto that bottom spinner. So, Dizzy Ninjago! Go Dizzy! Yeah, it seems to be spinning fine. It's not wobbling around like mad. It's a good spinner. You know, I am really surprised that LEGO haven't done a modification like this to really ramp up the gameplay with Ninjago. And if you're at all skeptical that it's all going to fly apart when it goes spinning, well, look how well the Blu-Tack bonds with this Ninjago spinner. I mean, it really is bonded. And what's left on the pieces is really easy to take off. And you're back to a clean spinner. Let me do a crazy battle between two really messed up minifigures. Whoa! Aya! That's gotta hurt. Oh yeah, the winner takes it all. Don't worry girls, haven't forgotten about you. Oh, Ninjago. Ouch. Smacked in the chops with a broomstick. Oh dear, this video is wrong. So very wrong. Oh dear, oh, the boys are going to hate me for this one. Oh, sorry about that, LEGO friends. I should have put this on before we had a fight. You know, I've got this Beyblades mobile arena, and Curiosity killed the cat, and I'm a bit curious to see how my mashup works in there. Well, here we go. This could be a fail, or it could be a winner. Wonky to start with that one. Oops. Nah, this battle arena is a bit small, I think. I'm not familiar with Beyblades. Is there bigger battle arenas than this one? It might work if it's a bigger arena. It's a bit of a crash site in there. Doesn't quite work. You know, a lot of people ask me, oh, can you look at some Beyblades for us? Well, I hope this counts. You know, it's really funny. It's like the Tale of Two Cities, what you see on the screen there. I did a Dizzy Dancer video. It was a while back now, a little while back, and it wasn't popular, and people saying, oh, girl's toy, you know, blah, blah. But my daughter liked these, and the thing she liked about it was the ripcord and the fact that you could take the tops off. It was interesting that it left the naked spinner. And you know, I did Ninjago quite a while back now, and it was just massively popular. And even today, that video is very popular whenever I've touched on Ninjago stuff. But I sort of wandered away from it. I thought I'd done enough of it, and I've always thought that the problem with Ninjago was, well, it couldn't self-spin. You had to do it by hand, and to me, the logical progression would be to have it's self-spinning, and you're not doing that flick of your fingers, which a lot of people struggle with. Let me just dump this Dizzy Dancer. Bye-bye. Well, I just hope that LEGO are developing this at the moment, or you know, have beaten me to it, or maybe somebody else has. It'd be great to see this toy become a self-spinner in a sense, and it just lifts and elevates the whole way this toy plays. It just transforms away, and the ease of play, and it's just a whole bunch more fun, and that's what toys are all about, and it's having fun. You know, this is a very simple mod to do, very simple. There'll probably be a big rush on Dizzy Dancers. I don't know which company's behind. It could be Hasbro, but I could be wrong. I think Hasbro is behind nearly everything. That and Mattel. Okay, let's do something a little bit crazy now. Let's do it. If the first comment on this video says first in big capital shouting letters FIRST, and you're willing to tell me where you live, I will send this out to you. It has to be the first comment, guys. This is a set that I purchased a little while back. I never reviewed it. It's set number 2254. What's unusual about it is it comes with a spinner. If this prize is not picked up in this video from that first comment, it'll roll over to another video somewhere in the future. Maybe some of you can see a trend of what's going on now. I've never quite worked out, is it K or Kai? I keep forgetting. And what I'd like to do is give away the two spinners I made up for this video. I don't need them. I've shown you how to do this. And I'd also like to give away two Ninjago LEGO sets. And it's the ones that you see there. They have got the style of spinners that you need for this modification. And because I'm generous, I'll throw in something else. A strip of blue tack to finish the job if you want to attach those spinners to those Ninjagos. Well, all you have to do is leave a comment on this video, and in the first month after upload I will choose a comment which sort of says, hey, I wouldn't mind those, but the condition here is you need to make a video and assemble these two critters together and show me them fighting. That's the condition. I don't want people just grabbing these and running. That's a very naughty thing to do. I do not want people spamming and just, you know, endlessly asking for stuff. I'll find someone. If they've been good to me, I will be good to you. It is that simple. And I think we'll finish off, and I'll show you nearly all of my daughter's minifigures of the Ninjago series. Of course, the ones which are in the video are not in that lineup. But it's interesting with Ninjago. It's sort of got bigger and bigger, and they're obviously growing it in a direction, sort of Power Ranger-y. But I think the other day I saw a crane, and I'm thinking, what are ninjas doing with a crane, like a construction crane? And maybe that's a sign that it's getting a little bit out of control. Anyway, as always, thank you for watching, and I hope this really does improve your play with Ninjago minifigures. Bye for now. And it certainly beats doing it by hand. Well, this will send the Dizzy Dancer people in the meltdown. Probably LEGO have a heart attack as well. I think I categorise that as a fail. This mod is a really simple one to pull off. This is Styler Spinner. We're going to take these weapons off. We don't need these. If I can get them out, my fat fingers are going to have... Oh, fail. I then come in with a blade and I remove the excess blue tack there. Oh, fail. Let me do a crazy battle between two custom figures. Oh, fail! Custom figures. Whoa! Well, here we go. This could be an epic fail, or it might be a winner. Who knows? That's on the fail reel.